The Hens split in Durham. Now are on their way home to start a series tonight at 406 Washington Boulevard with the Norfolk Tides. Everybody's coming home today. Everybody. The Tigers are returning home to take on the White Sox. The Indians are taking on the Mariners, and the Mud Hens return home. Kind of like LeBron James returning back to Cleveland. And so much more. But you know what? It's time to listen to something that I found very, very interesting the last time I was on the program. It's time to crank it up. Avenged Sevenfold. Good band. Loved them alive. It's time for All Andy Alfred right here. Head banging. Head banging. Oh, it's good to be on the program! Rocking the green today! On this Tuesday edition, the 29th of July. Two-week stop. Excuse me as I get on my scene, boys. Oh, it is Tuesday, and it's Avenged Sevenfold. Like your life. Oh, it's Avenged Sevenfold with Hail to the King, hailing to the King of LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's back to wearing an old number. We'll get into that in just a second. Right here on All Andy Alfred on your exclusive home for me, ClayFan23. And of course, I begin with saying, oh, I love you guys. Welcome into the program right here in the Man Cave Studios in East Toledo on this 29th of July 2014. We got a lot to get into today. Of course, we're going to preview the Tigers and Indians series coming up, as they both are playing opposition teams. The Indians playing the Mariners and the Tigers playing the White Sox. But yesterday we did have some baseball action to get into a little bit. The Mud Hens were in action. They took on the Durham Bulls, trying to win the series, taking 3 of 4 against Durham. They fell in the shorthand, splitting the series. Durham winning 5-2. Dwayne Below gets the loss. He goes to 8-5 with a 3.73 ERA. Kearns gets the win. He goes now to 8-5 with a 4.76 ERA. Solis and Benamine homered for Durham in that affair. Now the Mud Hens return home tonight to start up a 4-game set with the Norfolk Tides. Norfolk will start Stinson on the hill for the Tides, he is 1-4 with a 6.70 ERA. The Mud Hens will throw out Derek Hankins. And now Derek Hankins, to me, and I've talked about this many times on this program since the last time we were on the air, Derek Hankins has some control issues in the first and second innings. After he gets through those first and second innings, he's lights out. He gives up more runs in the first and second innings of this game. So if you're going to get to the game early to see a lot of runs being scored tonight. Hankins is 5-10 with a 5.65 ERA. 5-10, 5.65 ERA, 7:05 start time. You can watch that game on Buckeye Cable Sports Network or listen to the game on 1230 WCWA and iHeart radio station. Wednesday will be Robbie Ray for Toledo. He's 6-4 with a 3.60 ERA. He'll take on Wright for Norfolk, who is 2-9 with a 6.16 ERA. Thursday will be Belfory, who's 3-5 with a 3.16 ERA, coming off a great start on Saturday against Durham. Wilson will be on the hill for Norfolk. He's 2-0 with a 2.53 ERA. Including game on Friday will be Kyle Lobstein, 7-10 with a 4.11 ERA, taking on Jones for Norfolk, who is 6-6 with a 4.07 ERA. Norfolk is the affiliate of the Baltimore Orioles. Now, looking at the iOS standings after last night's Mud Hen loss, it moves them back into last place, but they're still 4 games out of first place. Columbus is leading the division. They're 56-53, 4-6 in their last 10. Indianapolis 57-54, 1 game out, 3-7 in their last 10. Louisville and Toledo are a virtual tie for third place, 54-57, 4 games out, both 4-6 in their last 10 games. So the Mud Hens hypothetically are still in third place. So it will be very interesting to see what happens. The developments going on tonight at Fifth Third Field, of course. On Thursday will be Leon Bull Durham bobblehead giveaway evening as well too. And I want to get into this really quick. Saturday, the Mud Hens hit the road. They'll go back on the road to take on the Indianapolis Indians. Garrett Cole, starting pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates, making rehab start with the Indianapolis Indians. He will start on Saturday for the Indians. That game at 7:10 our time, 6:10 in Indianapolis. Now, other notable games yesterday in Major League Baseball and the MLB. The Padres were a loser 2-0 in hot Atlanta. Sick play by the shortstop there. Took the ball right out of his hand and having that weird arm motion and flicked it right over to first base to cut the guy out at first. And the Braves getting a 2-0 win on a matinee day game. Not many people there at Turner Field on Monday afternoon because, like I said, everybody works on Monday. Arizona getting a win 2-1 in 15 innings against the Redlegs. Tampa Bay was a winner 2-1 over the Milwaukee Brewers. The Mets 7, Philadelphia 1. Bartolo Colon getting a big win in that department as well too. Here's an interesting story. The Toronto Bills. Toronto Bills, Andy? I thought that the Blue Jays. Buffalo Bills want to move the franchise to Toronto. So the Toronto Bills put 14 runs on the board against the Boston Red Sox or the New England Patriots. I call them the New England Patriots. 14-1. That's the final of that one. Washington losing to Miami in the bottom of the ninth as Miami wins 7-6 off walk-off fashion. The Cubbies were a loser 4-1 to Colorado. Texas wins 4-2. Jeter passes and gets the 7th overall. He's 7th overall in hits for the Yankees, passing some great Hall of Famers. And like I said, I'll mention this. He will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Number 2 straight to Cooperstown, in my opinion. Oakland was a loser 7-4 to the Houston Astros. The Astros just lighting it up. Homer after homer for them. Pittsburgh giving a thumping to the Giants 5-0, and the Giants have struggled as of late as well too, getting swept by the Dodgers this past weekend, and now losing to Pittsburgh. Well, tonight the Tigers get back into action. They'll take on the Chicago White Sox, the Pale Holes on the south side. It'll be Jose Quintana on the hill for the White Sox tonight. He's 5-7 with a 3.15 ERA. It'll be Anibal Sanchez for the Tigers. He's 7-4 with a 3.45 ERA. Naranzi will start for the White Sox on Wednesday. He's 5-6 with a 4.37 ERA. He'll take on Max Scherzer, who's 12-3 with a 3.37 ERA. Concluding game on Thursday will be Drew Smiley, 6-9 with a 3.77 ERA versus Danks, who is 9-6 with a 4.40 ERA. All games, you can watch all games on Fox Sports Detroit. And then on the opposite end of the lake, the Indians return home. The Indians are playing the Seattle Mariners. Iroquois on the hill tonight. Great pitching matchups. Seattle's the real deal in the West with pitching. Iroquois 8-5 with a 3.09 ERA. He'll take on Trevor Bauer, who is 4-5 with a 3.93 ERA. 7:05 start time for that one. This is a good pitching matchup. The two good aces right now. The ace of the Mariners staff versus, I think, the next ace for the Cleveland Indians. Felix Hernandez, 11-2 with a 1.99 ERA, taking on Corey Kluber, 10-6 with a 2.77 ERA. These two aces going at it tomorrow night. It is a recommendation, highly recommended here on this program to watch that great pitching matchup between Kluber and Hernandez. 7:05 start time on that one on Fox Sports Ohio. And then the concluding game on Thursday will be Chris Young for the Mariners, who's 9-6 with a 3.04 ERA, taking on Zach McAllister, who's 3-6 with a 5.65 ERA. All games you can watch on Fox Sports Time. Looking at the American League Central standings going into tonight's play, the Tigers are 57-45 after the day off. They're still 4-6 in the last 10. The run differential is a plus 43. Kansas City 53-51. Most of the division was off yesterday. It was mostly National League games and the AL East in action, and the AL West. Kansas City is in second place. They're 53-51, 5 games out, 5-5 in the last 10. Differential is a -1. Cleveland is 52-53, 1 game under 500, 6.5 out, 4-6 in the last 10. They're a +6 in differential. And the White Sox are 51-55, 8 games out, 6-4 in the last 10. Their run differential is -17. And Minnesota is 47-57, 11 games out, 3-7 in the last 10, -42 different. Well, looking at some news and notes happening today on this, the 29th of July, the NHL news for you today, of course, the big story is Eric Stahl having some core muscle injury. He will have surgery, but he will be expected to start the season for the Carolina Hurricanes this season. He will be a big key piece to the Hurricanes and the Metropolitan Division. Speaking of Metropolitan teams, the Blue Jackets today in Jacket Country news for you. Jerry D'Angelo signs a 2-way contract with the Blue Jackets. He will be playing with the Jackets. He had a great season last year, coming over the trade with Toronto. I think this kid's a very, very solid player. Great 2-way player as well too. He plays offense and defense really well. Michael Folik signs a 1-year, $3.3 million deal with the Winnipeg Jets as well too in the Western Conference. But here's some ECHL news for you today. The Walleye season, though, don't forget the Walleye Fan Winterfest tickets are on sale. They're on sale right now, $25 for games for the 27th against Kalamazoo or the 3rd against Fort Wayne. And what we're trying to confirm is if the alumni game will be on that 3rd of January. Remember, there is a big festival happening in downtown Toledo during that time for the Winterfest. It'll be 2 Walleye games, a BGSU hockey game. You also have the U.S. Under-18 team playing there as well too. High school amateurs, they'll have free skate as well too. There's plenty of tickets available for the 2 games. There's 1,000 tickets available. There's still a lot of tickets available for this event. $25 gets you into the door for the either 2 games, or you can buy both of them and get $50 for 2 good games. I mean, a Winter Classic ticket alone in the cheap seats is over $250. You cannot beat this deal. Enter the first outdoor ECHL hockey game happening at 406 Washington Boulevard. Get your tickets by calling 419-725-WALL or ToledoWalleye.com. But former Walleye player Dean Chelios has now signed with the Indianapolis Fuel. They're a new team coming out of the East Coast League. They will be playing in the National Conference on the other side of the thing. And I want to get into this really quick. if you have not heard yet, we have new conference and new realignment in the ECHL. It is 2 divisions in each conference. The American Conference will be as such. It will be Reading, Toledo, Wheeling, Cincinnati, Elmira. Those are your 5. And the opposite 5, you have Greenville, South Carolina. You have, you have Orlando. You have the Florida team. I know I'm forgetting somebody. It'll come to me probably when I'm doing this, but those 9 teams will be in the American Conference. In the other conference, you have Kalamazoo. You have all 3 Indianapolis Indiana teams. You have the Fort Wayne Comets. You have the Evansville Icemen. You have the Indianapolis Fuel, and you have the Colorado Eagles. The rest of the teams are as follows. You have the team out of Alaska. You have the team out of California from Stockton. You have Idaho, and you have a couple other teams. But realignment in the ECHL is very key. I remember when it was the East Coast Hockey League. The furthest you went is Toledo. Or Louisiana. Louisiana was the furthest. I remember when the East Coast Hockey League was all over the place. You remember the New Orleans Brass? Or the Greensboro Generals? Or how about the Birmingham Bulls? That was a great team. The Tallahassee Tiger Sharks. Or the Alabama... Oh, here's a good one. The Huntsville Blast. Of course, in Columbus, you do know the Columbus Chill. They were a great team. They were the team prior to the Blue Jackets. They were there for such a long time until John H. McConnell got the NHL to come to Columbus. But the furthest away you go is Alaska, and the furthest south you go is Orlando. Oh, Gwinnett. There it is. There's the other team, Gwinnett. I forgot, Gwinnett. I can't forget those guys. They screwed us over in 06 for the playoffs against the Storm, if you remember those times. But I don't think you do. But getting into some more news, of course, the NCAA settling with a $70 million settlement in the concussion suit. Congratulations to them getting it all settled and under control. Of course, the NBA news, Blake Griffin has a back fracture. He'll have that fixed and rehabilitated. He should be back before the beginning of the season. And of course, the big news yesterday, of course, LeBron. As I got the Cavs shirt behind me. All for one. And number 23. LeBron wearing the number 23. I think it's a good move. Brings back a lot. They'll sell a lot of merchandise because a lot of fans burn those jerseys. Just plain and simple for that. Recommendations, of course, the Mud Hens in action tonight at 406 Washington Boulevard. Get your tickets by calling 419-725-HENS or mudhens.com. Of course, as well as get the Winterfest tickets as well too. Get their tickets for that as well too. And get outside and enjoy it. It's going to be a nice day today. Even though there's a chance of rain, I'll be at the ballpark, of course. It's our Tuesday, typical Tuesday. We are in talks. I don't know. I shouldn't say yet because we don't know yet. Tuesday we might be taking the show to Cleveland. Next Tuesday, they take on. It's the Reds come calling to the former Jacobs Field, now Progressive Field. But until tomorrow, when we recap the Tigers and the Indians. The Mud Hen game as well, too. We'll give you full in-depth analysis of the Mud Hen game tomorrow. And so much more. So stay with us right here on ClayFan23. Subscribe to this channel. If you have a comment or a question for me, post it underneath the show. And I'm also at Twitter. It is at All Andy Alfred. It is at All Andy Alfred. Thank you again for tuning in to another edition of All Andy Alfred. I'll see you tomorrow for another edition of this program. We're back and better than ever. Until tomorrow, I'm Andy Alfred. Go Tigers! Go Tribe! Let's go Hens! And let's go Jackets. Can't wait. 72 days. Regular season starting October 9th against Buffalo. And then the 11th. And the 11th against the New York Rangers. I hate the Rangers. Hate the Rangers. Rick Nash. But until then, I'm Andy Alfred. I'm pulling for you. We're all in this together. Game of life. And to your team, the teams behind me, and to your team that you root at home as well. Victory is sweetest when you have tasted defeat. Have a great evening, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow for another edition of All Andy Alfred. I love you guys. Talk to you tomorrow.